Hello and welcome to our channel. Thank you so much for taking some time to listen to these Dhamma talks. We trust and believe you will be blessed in your practice of the Dhamma. Today's Dhamma talk is simply titled Mindfulness. Mindfulness has become a kind of buzzword, a new catchphrase in America anyway, very popular. People of all types are practicing or teaching Dhamma. We see it on YouTube videos, in the newspapers, etc. And I know it's even being taught in some grade schools or other parts of the school system. What I've seen in these teachings is not really the complete teaching that the Buddha has taught, and I hope in this talk to clarify and explain, define what mindfulness really looks like. I'm going to start with a quote from the Buddha. This is said to have been the very last words he spoke as he was passing over into parinibbana. He says, all formations are subject to decay, bring about completion by being mindful. So I think these words are especially important, especially powerful. He taught for more than 40 years, tens of thousands of people, and his dying words are bring about completion by being mindful. So let's break down these two simple sentences. All formations are subject to change. Anything that exists as a thing anywhere in the universe, including thoughts and emotions, thoughts are also things, they arise and pass away. So the universe arises and passes away, and everything in the universe is subject to decay, to dissolution, to disappear. And bringing about completion is a nice way of saying ending this cycle of rebirth, ending all of the suffering that birth entails, and the completion, of course, is nibbana, finding full and complete liberation from the delusions and the sufferings of our life. So let's now move on to an excellent definition of what mindfulness is. It has two parts. The first is constant conscious awareness, and the second part is with clear comprehension. So the mindfulness that I see being popularized in the West is trying to watch what you're doing. There should be somebody watching and knowing what you're doing, and ideally, as often as possible throughout the day, with as few breaks in it as possible. In other words, a constant flow of awareness of what's going on in the mind, what kinds of words are coming out of the mouth, and what kinds of actions and activities are engaged in. Now, everyone is mindful to some degree or another. If you stop anyone on the street and say, "What are you doing?" they're going to tell you, "I'm driving a car, I'm going to work, I'm fishing, I'm washing the dishes." That is not mindfulness. Mindfulness is somebody watching what we're doing, not just knowing that we're washing the dishes, but knowing that we know we are washing the dishes. The second part is the part that I don't see being taught in the West as commonly, and that is with clear comprehension. So what is clear comprehension? We know that we know, that's the first step of mindfulness, and we know there is no such thing as a person. So there's knowing, but there's not a person who knows. There's not a person knowing what this person is doing. Now, this is perhaps the most extremely difficult teaching of the Buddha. Almost nobody wants to give up being a person. So I understand why mindfulness would drop that part of the practice, because it would be generally be very unpopular. In order to practice right mindfulness, we have to understand what right effort is. If we don't have the right effort in our mindfulness, it won't produce satisfactory results. I've defined now that right mindfulness includes the recognition that there is awareness, but the awareness does not refer to a person. It's not dependent on a person. So there are two basic ways that right effort is described in the text, and one is called the Satipatthana Sutta. It says the four right strivings or right effort, and the first one is prevent the arising of unwholesome states. Well, we have to watch and see if negative thinking, ugly thinking, violent thinking is arising or has arisen. The second one is eliminate any arisen unwholesome states. Well, we can't do that if we don't catch them. Typically, something arises in the mind, we like or don't like it, and we get involved with it. Mindfulness is knowing that it has arisen in the mind and dropping it as quickly as possible. The third one is develop unarisen wholesome states. So the first two are get rid of the negativity immediately. Think of it as a poison snake you have picked up accidentally, thinking it was something else, maybe not a poison snake, a piece of colorful rope or whatever you thought at the time. And the moment you recognize it's a poison snake, nobody has to tell you to get rid of it, throw it away, get away from it as fast as possible. That's what we're doing with mindfulness. We're recognizing the nature of the thoughts that arise in consciousness and getting rid of them as quickly as possible. And the fourth form of right effort is sustain, develop, and perfect arisen wholesome states. So all the kind of Dhamma thinking, Dhamma values, the 10 paramis, anything that is a virtue, that polishes our virtue, enhances, develops our virtue, those are the kinds of thoughts we want to continue to have and to perfect them moment by moment. So let's review mindfulness: constant, uninterrupted, conscious awareness of what's going on in the mind, what kinds of words are being spoken, what activities are being engaged in, and with clear comprehension that these things are happening. We're not taught that they're not real or that they're not happening. What we're taught is they're not happening to a person. That is the definition and the right practice of mindfulness. We can be certain of our success when we practice with the right view and the right effort. Thank you. Thank you for listening. May this be a blessing to you. May you contemplate and reflect and investigate the mind to see if you're practicing according to the Dhamma's teachings. You are welcome to make suggestions on topics you would like to hear or comments on how we could improve the channel. Thank you very much.